Ethiopia held a state funeral today for long-serving Prime Minister Meles Zenawi. Meles led Ethiopia from 1991 until his death 12 days ago. Senior officials from throughout the world paid their respects at the funeral. It was the country's first state funeral in more than 80 years.
Thousands of people are attending the state funeral of Ethiopia's late Prime Minister Meles Zenawi. The 57-year-old died of an infection suddenly last month in a Brussels hospital where he'd been receiving treatment for a long illness. It's Ethiopia's first state funeral in more than 80 years. Dozens of foreign dignitaries, including at least 20 African leaders, are attending the ceremony. The founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates, is also taking part. Earlier this week, thousands of mourners gathered to witness Meles's casket arriving in the capital, Addis Ababa. His body was then taken to his private residence as funeral preparations were made. Meles became one of Africa's central political figures after leading a coup against Ethiopia's military rulers in 1991. He's widely credited with spearheading much of the country's development, but his leadership was tainted by human rights abuse and corruption allegations.
His was a life of immense courage, vision, and enterprise, which he devoted to the advancement of his fellow citizens in this country and across Africa.
This is a painful period for the people of Ethiopia to lose such a young leader, a patriot, and a visionary.
In his children and in all children, Meles saw the promise of renewal and the power of hope. Meles was disarmingly regular, unpretentious, and direct.
My friend Meles was a great man, a grand great man, a man of vision. He was attached to Pan-Africanism, and for him, we can strengthen the unity of our continent.
His charm, his intellect, his passion for Africa's development, his passion for a stronger, peaceful, stable Africa is unmatched.
Also attending the funeral, U.S. Ambassador to the UN Susan Rice, as well as Sudan's President Omar al-Bashir. He's been indicted by the ICC on several counts of war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide in the Darfur conflict. Zenawi came to power in 1991 and was credited for bringing growth to Ethiopia, but for many at the cost of respect for human rights. Opponents of the longtime ruler accuse him of cracking down on opposition groups and of rigging elections.
Thousands of people have been pouring here at the Meskel Square, dressed in black, and some in t-shirts with portraits of the late Prime Minister Meles Zenawi. Emotions are overflowing here, and they are joined by 20 African leaders and other prominent dignitaries who are seated down there where the body is lying and the official ceremony is taking place. Religious leaders will lead a procession from the Meskel Square to the Holy Trinity Cathedral, where Meles Zenawi will be buried at a corner set aside for national heroes. Many consider him as a national hero. He laid the foundation of one of Africa's fastest growing economies. Better health services and a country that has constantly faced starvation is steadily attaining food security. But there are those who are critical of his human rights record, and they feel international support is needed to further open up democratic space in Ethiopia.